industry, and our Secretary of Industry sector will tell you more about it. The industry of Vojvodina region is mostly processing, so we have quite a big share, 94%, contrary to the mining sector, and the electricity supply sector that takes only 0.3%. Services are very developed in Vojvodina as well, so we are talking about ICT sector, financial services, trade, and traffic logistics. In the last 20 years, Vojvodina has received more than 9 billion of euros of foreign direct investments. Novi Sad is the center of Vojvodina, and it is well known as university city. So we have more than 50,000 students, 3 scientific institutes, more than 250 laboratories, and the newly opened scientific technological park. Vojvodina is best known for its exit festival, Fruška Gora monasteries, its history, tradition, culture, rivers such as Danube, Tisa, its historical heritage, gastronomy, and nature. Since we are partners, we all know what our chamber does. So it represents the connection between companies, business people, relevant institutions. It is the national and international promotion of an economic climate. It is a disposal to the economy, and we at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina are divided into 3 associations. Those are Association of Agriculture, Industry, and Services. More about economic trends in autonomous province of Vojvodina. First of all, from the beginning of pandemics, the government of Republic of Serbia has invested nearly 6 billion euros. And 1 week ago, our government has adopted a new package of economic measures with a value of more than 2 billion euros. This package is aimed to SMEs, but also big companies and service sector. Here we can see the first 5 groups. So tax policy measures, direct assistance to private sector, measures to preserve liquidity that take more than 4% of GDP. And the total, in total, these 5 groups of economic packages take up to 12.2% of GDP. Speaking about gross domestic product of the Republic of Serbia. As every country in the world, we had a major drop in second quarter of 2020. We had a slight recovery from that in the third quarter of 2020, and we expect to have a slightly growth in this year, but it was all due to the pandemics and that major sharp negative effect would be even greater if it weren't for the economic measures that our government has adopted, and also because of the structure of our economy. Inflation-wise, inflation has always been steady, 5 years in a row. Inflation is stable and is moving according to the limits within the limits of National Bank of Serbia. When we talk about industrial production, it has always been a trend that industrial production, its rates has been always higher in Vojvodina than in Republic of Serbia. So we can see on this graph left-hand side. When talking about turnover of goods in retail trade from 2016, we can see a positive trend in millions of euros in Republic of Serbia, but also in Vojvodina. Well, in external trade of autonomous province of Vojvodina, we have definitely seen negative effects of COVID-19. So we see here that at the end of 2020, exports, imports, and also balance of trade were pretty much the same as in 2019, with the acceptance of balance of trade. But during the whole year, we have first met the negative effects in April and May 2020, and from those months on, we have had constantly negative trends and drops in exports and imports side. We see here year-on-year growth rates of exports and imports. So exports growth rate were -1% and -7% on the import side, which is not as bad as it was in April, May, or June. On the right-hand side, we can see that the share of autonomous province of Vojvodina in exports and imports of Republic of Serbia take up to 30% of the national average. Ignition wire sets and other wiring sets of vehicles is our most exported product. And on the import side, petroleum oils and oils from bituminous minerals are our most imported product. So we are very energetically depending on Russian Federation and other countries that from which we import gas and oil. Here we can see our first 10 partners in trade cooperation. Mostly they come from European Union, and we can see here the balance of Vojvodina's external trade with major foreign trade partners. So we have, from these 10 partners, we only have a positive balance with 4 countries: Romania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, and Hungary. And for with the last 6 of them, we have a negative balance. We have a negative balance with China the most. Here we can see some data about cooperation between Vojvodina and the Kingdom of Morocco. As His Excellency already mentioned, there is a lot of room for growth. It's a fact that in 2020 we had a major drop in exports and in imports. That means that our total trade really dropped. Morocco is at the 58th place in Vojvodina's total trade cooperation with other countries, 66th place in the export side, and on the import side, it takes 50th place. The total trade of Vojvodina and between Vojvodina and Kingdom of Morocco takes 21%, takes the share of 21% in the trade of Republic of Serbia and Morocco, and we can see here that almost 20% are taken care of export and import sides. On the labor market, we have registered employment growth both in Vojvodina and Republic of Serbia, and the most registered employees come from manufacturing sector. Here we can see the average salaries according to the latest data. So for the first 11 months in 2020, that would be 682 euros per month. That is the average gross salary, and the average net salary is slightly below 500 euros. here we can see 7 districts of Vojvodina, and also we can see that the South Bačka district has the highest average net salary per employee among the all districts of Vojvodina. And that would be all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Jelena. I hope that our viewers now have some a good data about Vojvodina and about better picture of its business community. And we are moving to Casablanca again. Regarding our agenda, now we should have some more info about business climate and investment in Casablanca CETAT region. And a kind of info and presentation would give us Mr. Ali Mahrez, Director in charge of industrial sector at the Moroccan Investment and Export Development Agency. I think do we have Mr. Mahrez? I saw the picture. I can't see it now. Yeah. Maybe it's a shared presentation already. Mr. Mahrez, please.
It's not.
Thank you.
I believe it's the Center for Regional Investment who's supposed to intervene at this point, right? Neka sjedi.
Okay, Mr. Salman Beoaj.
Belayachi, yes.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, that's what I have. It's just little changes in order. Doesn't matter. Please, Mr. Salman, take a floor.
Thank you. You can hear me, right?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Well, thanks for planning this event and. My first regards to His Excellency, Ambassador of His Majesty to Serbia, dear presidents of both chambers of commerce of our respective regions. It's my pleasure to portray and showcase what the Casablanca region has to offer in terms of investment. So if you allow me, I'll go through a presentation that will highlight the main points regarding that. Obviously, you all know the movie Casablanca, so we thought there's a line in the movie that goes along the way of what we're trying to establish together. So Louis, I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So I think it's going to be the beginning of an interesting partnership between our region and yours in terms of development and promotion of investment for both our investors. A quick summary of what I'll probably go through. Obviously, a highlight on the outstanding bilateral cooperation between our two countries, a glimpse into the reasons why invest in the Casablanca region, some promising sectors that have some amazing success stories, and perhaps give you an idea of the latest reform regarding the agency in charge of regional investments, which I am the head of. As you all know, there was an agreement signed in 2019 between our two dignitaries regarding the trade, tourism, and culture sectors. And on a global scale, this intergovernmental agreement on multi-sectoral knowledge and drain of foreign investment between our two regions. So with no further ado, the reasons why investing in Casablanca Stat region is of an utmost respect to us. Well, there are 10 reasons mainly, okay? First of all, this region is the economic locomotive of Morocco. It's by far the biggest region in terms of size and contribution in the economy. And it has a flourishing business climate. It has a strong and diversified economic structure. It's by all means trying to be a smart city, and there are many initiatives in that regard. It has high standard infrastructure, logistic connectivity, international airports as a main gate to Africa, a very young and active population, and qualified and skillful resources. Some metrics regarding the region: it contributes around 33% of our national GDP, 50% activity rate. There's a huge entrepreneurship dynamic, 30% of national companies, 39% of national industrial companies. 7 million people, which is around 20% of the national population. It's ranking 53 in the doing business rank, as mentioned, Mr. President. And it's probably, there'll be a slide that will highlight that in more detail, as there has been a huge jump in the last 10 years. Connectivity-wise, it's 3 hours from London, 4 hours from Serbia, 3 hours from Paris, 3 hours from Dakar, 5 hours from Nigeria. It has a state-of-the-art infrastructure in terms of roads. It concentrates around 40% of the national mobility. It's a regional economic powerhouse in agriculture. It's #1 agricultural hub in the country. It's the first wealth provider. It's the first industrial hub. And obviously the contribution on all of those sectors are pretty staggering. 45% of national investment and industrial employment are in this region, and 81% of national industrial investment are in this region. 57% of national industrial exports are from this region. It accounts for 75% of revenues and 74% of national industrial production. When it comes to doing business ranking, it is heavily weighted on the performance of Casablanca Stat region as a benchmark, as I would say a champion of the metrics in that regard. So in 2010, Morocco was ranking 94th in roughly 200 countries that are measured by the doing business ranking of the World Bank. In 2020, we are almost reaching our goals, set to be in the top 50 worldwide. So there has been a leap of 41 places in 10 years. This has been the fruit of a tremendous work that has been done on all the metrics that would lead up to that ranking. Obviously, we're ranking even higher on some metrics. In starting a business, we're 43rd in the world. In dealing with construction permits, we're 16th in the world. And this is going to be thanks to all the measures and all the initiatives and all the programs and all the digitization effort in that regard. Obviously, paying taxes, trading across borders and all these things. Obviously, you can tell that in terms of getting credit, that was probably over one of the lowest rankings. And there has been tremendous programs that have been unleashed since then to improve on that. There has been a program spearheaded by the vision of His Majesty the King in terms of the financing of micro enterprises, and we launched it right before COVID hit worldwide. And today we're seeing tremendous, I would say, results from that program. As most of you know, there has been an early response by the country in trying to, I would say, ease out the impact of COVID-19. Morocco has invested something, I would say, along those $3 billion at first. In terms of proportion to GDP, Morocco has one of the highest contribution in terms of the package to stimulate the economy worldwide. And there has been a number of programs and banking products to facilitate access to credit since then. And we're going to see perhaps in the near future an improvement in that ranking, just thanks to what all has been done. In terms of the infrastructure, which is at the international standards, there are 4 ports in this region: Casablanca, Mohammedia, El Jadida, and Jafra Asfar. It is the first trade port area of Morocco. Again, it accounts for 40% of the national mobility. Morocco's largest road network, about 800 kilometers of national roads and 427 kilometers of motorway network. We are proud to host and have the highest, I would say, standard high-speed train and first of that kind in the Africa continent. And it's linking Casablanca to Tangier. There are about 100 kilometers of tram lines in Casablanca alone. It's impossible to talk about Casablanca without mentioning its international airport, one of its emblematic, I would say, infrastructures. It accounts for 50% of national passengers traffic. It connects over 35 African countries. Its Royal Emirates is a member of the One World Alliance as of 2020. The fourth largest airport in Africa, accounting for over 130,000 tons per year of freight capacity, and over 10 million passengers have transited through that airport in 2019. When it comes to the industrial activities, it's by far the biggest platform for that kind of investment. It accounts for over 5,000 hectares of industrial land. All the logistic connectivity, all the sustainable development standards are being met. And there are a number of programs that are being unleashed and worked upon by different organizations, being institutionals, private sector, or public and private alliance. Just as an example, I'll share with you some key projects, some key structural projects for the region. You have the new project called the ANFA project, Zenata Ecological City, the urban pole of Mazagan, Yaita, and 2,500 hectares of new cities urbanization projects are ongoing. Regional programs of more than 4,500 kilometers of rural area roads and 1,400 hectares of activities projects as well. In terms of human resources, this region accounts for 26% of all students in public universities, 32% of all professional trainees, 25% students in the private universities, and 45% of industrial workers. It is an educational hub in all standards. Some promising sectors are obviously the aero industry, the automotive industry, the national energetic strategy, pharmaceutical industry, and in terms of services, you have the offshoring, the finance, the tourism, energy, and agriculture. One of the main, I would say, success stories that Morocco is showcasing, and our region in particular, is the leap that has been taken in the last 20 years in developing the aero industry business, which is already in the top 10 generating of foreign currency in terms of exports. You're looking at an amazing run that has been done. It is the fruit of a tremendous effort spearheaded by the vision of His Majesty into making the Casablanca region and Morocco in general one of the meccas of the aero business and aero manufacturing. The automotive industry Morocco is the first exporter of automotive components to Africa. We're talking about 100 R&D research centers, a dedicated Trenton center since the 1960s. It's the #1 exporting sector in Morocco. It's the automotive industry. 90% of the total production in the exported of the total production is exported to Europe. It accounts for 163,000 jobs. This is the aim by 2023. And we're talking about a projected capacity of 1 billion units per year. In terms of the, I would say, key figures regarding the pharmaceutical industry, 75% of pharma firms are located here. It accounts for $1.5 billion in terms of revenues and contribution to GDP. $200 million in exports. It's the second leader in Africa in that sector. It's the fifth in the MENA region, and it accounts for about 3,500 jobs. When it comes to services, there's a rich offer, a very interesting one in terms of offshoring, which accounts for 3% of national GDP, 300,000 square meters of working space, 100 IT companies. It's the first and biggest platform for IT. It has more than 26,000 jobs in that regard. Casa Finance City, which is the first financial center in Africa and MENA. This is the GFCI 2020. It's the 46th international worldwide financial center, 14 partnerships with international financial centers, 19 South-South partnerships, and 200 international banks and insurance institutions and advisory groups are already in place working. Obviously, Casablanca is a very attractive place, attractive name, historical, with all tremendous assets when it comes to tourism. It's the third national touristic destination. Obviously, you can guess that Marrakech is a competitor. Has about 450,000 cruises per year and 7% of part of the national GDP. Energy is a national energetic strategy, including renewable energy resources. This is a huge, I would say, project that is mainly, I would say, set as a priority for the Moroccan economy and making sure that we are in compliance and aligned with all the green production in the years to come. So 42% renewable energy in global energetic production procurement by 2020 and 52% renewable energy in global energetic procurement by 2030. That is the goal that we have set ourselves. Although people think it's mainly an industrial destination, this region has a tremendous contribution in terms of agriculture. 16% of national GDP, 16% of the regional GDP comes from agriculture. All national industrial units in that regard, about 30% of them are in this region, and it's the first national grain, meat, and milk production. Now, I will probably share with you in a concise way some of the reforms that have taken place in the past year and a half or so regarding the promotion and the development and institution of investment. So there has been a law, the 4718, that has been passed, which by establishing this law, Morocco has made a big step toward investment procedures, treatment, simplification, digitization through the digital platform of Seri Invest, which is a way of making sure that there's an end-to-end investment procedure and authorization, and pairing all the administration involved in the investment validation into one commission called the Unified Regional Investment Commission. So just to give you a glimpse of what that means, before the reform, there has been a numerous number of commissions that will intervene in the act of investing at some point. All these commissions were not necessarily synchronized, and they had sometimes overlapping, I would say, prerogatives. It used to take, on average, 180 days for a decision-making process to come through. Today, after this reform, we're talking about a maximum of 30 days. And in our region, we're already looking at something like close to 8 days for a decision-making to take place and have a clear answer to the investor when it comes to all the administrative work and process and all the red tape. Like I said, multiple administrations were involved. Today, they are all synchronized and paired into one single commission. And before, and this is a major breakthrough, the decision-making used to be taken unanimously. So in other words, if 14 administrations had to intervene in the process of making that investment, if one of them were not in favor of that project, it would never see the light. So this decision has been thrown out of the window, and the law now talks about the majority decision-making, which has brought about a streamlined effect and a smoothing of all the red tape regarding the investment process. Just for your knowledge, some of the areas that have been set forth by the law where the Center of Regional Investment is involved in and is spearheading actions in, you have the investment procedure simplification, okay, which is a major, I would say, axis we're working on. You have the regional promotion and marketing of our Casablanca region. You have the regional strategy and planification. You have the conciliation and mediation between companies and administration that have to come through us. Obviously, all the advice and support post-investment and follow up to make sure that all the companies that have launched their activities can go through the valley of death and still be there in 3 years and 5 years from now. And obviously, there's a huge chunk of that related to the economic intelligence and all the planning that we can do beforehand. So that was, in a nutshell, some of the areas that we're working on, some of the prerogatives that have been passed by the law, and some of the, I would say, points of attractiveness of our regions. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Bevoyage, for a nice presentation. If I didn't say, Mr. Salman Bevoyage is the director of the Regional Center for Investment of Casablanca CETAT. Well, we were able to see too many matches between two regions, but one of advantages that we always stress as one of Vojvodina-specific advantages is its agriculture. I would like to ask Mr. Mladen Petković, Agriculture Association Secretary from our chamber, to give us his opinion about opportunities in agriculture in Vojvodina. Please, Mladen.
Thank you, Mr. Stoyanov. Your Excellency, dear President, dear colleagues from Morocco, it's nice to see you here. For the next time, I will prepare some presentation, but for today, I want to say something about agricultural production in Serbia. As we heard, foreign trade is not on the high level between Serbia and Morocco. Foreign trade in agriculture is on the same level, but it is opportunity to increase our foreign trade. The most important product is maize, and it is on the level of 70% of total foreign trade. Now I want to tell you something about production, agricultural production in Serbia. When we say about wheat production is at the level of 3 million tons, and surpluses that can be exported is about 1.9 million tons. Maize production was about 8 million tons, with potential export volumes about 4 million tons. I want to say that we already exported something about 2.5 million tons. Soybean production was about 800,000 tons, with about 230,000 tons for the export of seeds, 67,000 tons of soybean oil, and 65,000 tons of soybean meal and similar protein products. Sunflower products was about 664,000 tons, with the following export quantities of 120 tons of seeds, 180,000 tons of 180,000 tons of oil, and 110,000 tons of sunflower meal. When we talk about fruit production, the most significant quantities can be provided in apples. About 500,000 tons have been produced, and the quantities for export are about 200,000 tons. This was a brief observation of the most important types of production, elementary agricultural production of Serbia. And we want to say that we are very proud of the fact that we are non-GMO country, and that is one of comparative advantages of Serbia. We hope that we will improve our cooperation in future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Petkovic. I think now Mr. Mahrez is ready. Yes? Yes, please. So, Director in charge of industrial sectors at the Moroccan Investment and Export Development, Mr. Ali Mahrez, give us his presentation about business climate and investment in Casablanca Setat region. I think we don't have sound of Mr. Mahrez. I think should unmute just the micro.
Hi, everybody.
I think it's okay now.
Take part to this event. I'm sorry for the little delay. Before starting my presentation, I would like to share with you a small movie about Morocco. It's a 2-minute movie. Partager écran. C'est bon. Yes. C'est bon? The movie showcases the most important or the most significant developments that Morocco has shown during the last 2 decades, during the reign of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI. You can enjoy during this movie the most important infrastructures that has been built in Morocco. We have international standards infrastructures, railways, motorways, first high-speed train. We also have launched a satellite that is already operational in the skies. We also have big ports, as previously said, but shared by Mr. Blaishi about when speaking about Casablanca. We have international standards in terms of technology, in terms of aeronautic industries. As you can see, we also have a very important automotive cluster. As you in the movie, you can see the fact that the Renault plant in Tangier. We also have nearly all the big names in terms of automotive wirings, like Fujikura or Yazaki. We also have big names from Korea, from other international regions. Agriculture is also one of the most important sectors in Morocco, despite being less important than industry, but it's still one major social and economic sector in Morocco. Maybe if I ask you what is the first exporting sector in Morocco, you won't think about automotive, but it's automotive since 2014. Before starting my presentation, I would like to tell you a few words about my organization, MDU, which is Moroccan Investment Export and Development Agency. Moroccan Investment and Export Development Agency is part of the Ministry of Industry and Investment. We are in charge of promoting investments in Morocco and also exporting sectors. We are in charge mainly for industrial sectors, because for tourism and for agriculture, in Morocco, we do have specific agencies that are in charge of these sectors. The first thing, when speaking about investments, the first thing before thinking about potential gains or potential benefits that an investor may have when entering a new location, investors should think about risk. And when it comes to risk, we are proudly one of only 2 African countries that still have investment grade in Africa. I think this is important. This is one fact that must be stressed. That must be underlined, because there are 54 countries in Africa, but only 2 countries that still have or that have investment grade. That's about financial health or financial structure. What about quality of living? What about safety, personal safety for investors? I think it's according to control risks. It's not a Moroccan agency, it's a British agency that testifies that we do have the same level of risk as the United States, as France, as Qatar, as Portugal, as Spain. When coming to Morocco, investors never think about their personal safety. It's not a concern. It's not an issue when living in Morocco. You just enjoy your life and enjoy your business. I think that must be, it's very important. All investors are looking for high yield investments, but I think all investors also are looking for safe destinations. And in terms of both criteria, Morocco performs well, I think, because we are investment grade and also a very safe country. In terms of macroeconomic fundamentals, as previously said by other intervenants, in Morocco, we do have steady GDP growth. Maybe it's the rate of growth is not very, it's not 2-digit rate, but it's still growing. And this growth is continuously positive. We never, during the last 2 decades, I can say that we never had negative growth. Also, in terms of inflation is very well contained in Morocco. During the last year, before the pandemic, the inflation rate was less than 2%. In terms of unemployment, we still before the pandemic, it was less than 10%, and we are working on that to have more to enhance the figures. In terms of position, I spoke in the beginning about risk. I spoke about macroeconomic fundamentals, but I think there is one thing that no one can take from Morocco. It's our geostrategical position. We are in one time. We are African. We are Arab. We are less than 20 kilometers from Europe, and we are the closest country to North America. I think when coming to Morocco, when coming to a location, all investors are looking for neighboring markets. Yes, there may be interest in the domestic markets of the country where I'm investing, but the question is, what can I do from this country? What are the biggest markets I can address from there? And when coming to Morocco, you can very easily address European markets, because there are all major European capitals are. You can reach these capitals in less than 3 to 4 hours flights. You can reach North American capitals in less than 6 to 7 hours flights. And also you can almost reach, let's say, more than 30 capitals in Africa from Casablanca hub. Mr. Belayashi did said a lot about Casablanca. He didn't let me too much to add. So I'm looking for new facts. In terms of sea connectivity, thanks to the new port which has been built in Tangier, which is world known now, it's Tangier Med Port. Morocco is one of the most connected countries in terms of sea connectivity in Africa. We are second in terms of sea connectivity. We are ranked second in Africa, and we are around 20 worldwide. In terms of openness, one country may be safe, may be investment grade, may have a geographical position that is interesting, but may not be open. But Morocco is open, and this openness is not new. I will say that in our DNA, Moroccan people are open. We are historically, Moroccans have always been in contact with new civilization and different civilization and different influences. And in terms of trade openness, let me say that when coming to Morocco, you can reach out of free of tax, free of taxes, or a market that can be estimated to more than 1 billion consumers. These consumers are located or are in the most wealthy regions in Morocco, in the world. You can reach European consumers, as I said, because we have an association agreement with the EU. We also have post-Brexit agreements with the British people since they have left the EU. We also have, we are the only African country that have free trade agreements with the United States. We also are, Morocco is a founding partner or founding country of the newly signed free trade agreement, continental free trade agreement in Africa. We also have free trade agreements with Tunisia, Egypt, and Jordan. We also have one free trade agreement with Turkey. We also have one with the United Arab Emirates. And all these agreements give the investors the possibility or the opportunity to reach these consumers free of charge, free of taxes. Also, in terms of sometimes when bringing your money to a country, it may be easy, but the difficulties may happen when you want to take back your money. This is not an issue in Morocco. You have no restrictions on investments in local companies or for non-residents. Very often when speaking to foreign investors, I have a question. Do we need to have a local partner in Morocco? Is it mandatory? Is it something we need to do? I always say them, it's up to you. There is no restriction. There is no obligation to you. It's not. It's something you may manage by yourself. It's not like some neighboring countries where you need, by law, you need to have a local partner. If you go to a country A, you need to have someone from this country with you in your company. This is not a fact. This is not an issue in Morocco. You can totally own your business. And when owning your business, you can totally and freely move your money as you like. Also, we have a convertibility regime for foreign investors. And we have around 80 bilateral double taxation agreements and investment protection agreements I don't have the list, but it's around 80 countries. And these agreements give to investors international standards protection for their investments. It's not, Morocco is not a country where you may have the risk to be that the state will take your investment, or the state will tell you, no, I will take part of your company. It never happens in Morocco. In terms of costs of living, in terms of costs of workforce, and in terms of costs of exporting from Morocco. Because when coming to Morocco, we know that investors are looking for competitive labor force, and also are looking to export costs. And compared to neighboring countries, you can see in the figures that compared to Tunisia or to Turkey or to South Africa, we do have a very competitive workforce. Also in terms of exporting, because domestic markets in Morocco is not that big. Let's say it's a fact. We are less than 40 millions in Morocco, 40 million consumers. But I told you that you can reach more than 1 billion consumers. And in terms of exporting from Morocco, it's very easy, and also it doesn't cost that much. I think it's very important. And as Mr. Belayashi has said, and also Mr. President, Mr. Adil from the chamber has previously said, Morocco, in terms of doing business, performs very well. We are third in North Africa, third in Africa, third in the Arab world. But when you look closely to the indicators, to the metrics, you find that Morocco is performing very well. And I think that in the next report of the World Bank, we will be getting better than 53. And since 2010, we have gained more than 75 ranks. I think there are a few countries in the world that have that's better. Also, Morocco is industrializing. Maybe if I told you before, Mr. Belayashi has said that, but maybe if I asked you before the presentation of Mr. Belayashi, what is the most important exporting sector in Morocco, one may say phosphates, one other may say agriculture, or maybe textile and clothing industry. But since 2014, it's automotive industry. Also, one fact that I'm proud of, there are so many airplanes in the world that are flying thanks to Moroccan parts, because we do have more than 114 companies in the aeronautic sector that are operating from Morocco, and some of these parts are made only in Morocco. Because in terms of supply chain, all industrials or all international companies avoid having one local sourcing company for a part. But when you have a big confidence in this country, when you have good partners, you can take this risk. And in terms of aeronautic industry, I can say you very confidently and very proudly that there are Airbus planes and also Boeing planes that are flying thanks to some Moroccan parts and some exclusively made in Morocco parts. I think that this is a fact that we may stress, because seen from far from Morocco as an African country, it's maybe not. One may not think about this. You can see by yourself the figures about automotive industry. 10 years ago, it was very small, but since 2014, it's the first exporting sector, and it's booming. The situation is the same for aeronautic industry. Last week, we have a big name in terms of industrial aeronautic parts that have reinvested in Morocco. We are in the midst of the pandemic, the midst of the crisis of COVID-19. And this French company has opened a new plant in Morocco. I think it says a lot. It may say more than I can say you about the competitiveness of Morocco, about the quality of infrastructure, about also the growing possibilities you may have when coming to Morocco. Also, Morocco is a financial hub. I already said that when coming to Morocco, you can address European markets. It's a fact, I think, all people now know. But also when coming to Morocco, you have the opportunity to address African markets. Casablanca Finance City is the first financial center in Africa. And it gives you a very interesting package when establishing your regional or African headquarters in Casablanca. You may benefit from a lot of incentives that may include tax incentives and also a package of doing business conditions that are very, very, very important to grow your business in Africa. And in the right side of my slide, you can have some of financial or advisory companies that are operating their African business from Casablanca, and also non-financial and non-advisory companies that are located or are establishing their African business in Casablanca. Also, one fact that I would like to stress finally, and I will close my presentation by this slide. It's about Morocco as an investment platform for Africa. Morocco is the second investor in Africa. Moroccan companies are very well located in most of African countries. We do have 3 major banks, Moroccan-owned banks, that are located in more than 34 countries in Africa. We also have more than half of our Moroccan foreign direct investments that is owned by Moroccan companies. It is outgoing foreign investment that is addressed toward African markets. We also, thanks to His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, have very strong relationships with African countries. We do have also very, very deep human, cultural, spiritual, and multidimensional links to these African countries. That all these facts make business, make international businesses addressing African markets from Morocco. It makes this very interesting and makes this opportunity worth to be considered. Thank you very much, and I will stay at your disposal. May you need any further information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahrez, for good information and nice presentation. I must notice again a lot of messages, even between a way of attracting foreign investment in your country and region, and that's what we do in Serbia and Vojvodina as well. And also, just before our next speaker, I would mention Serbia's free trade agreement, which are very important also to potential investors from Morocco. And among them, free trade agreement with Russia Federation, which gives you more opportunity, I mean UN investment from Morocco to open or reopen some factories in Vojvodina or Serbia, and ready to be exported in the Russian Federation as a large market as well. Well, I think our next speaker would also maybe say something about that. That's Mr. Zoran Tepovski, Industry Association Secretary in our chamber. Zoran, please.
Thank you, Milan. Your Excellency, President Uchurovic, dear guests and colleagues from Morocco. I was honored and privileged to be part of that delegation, which Milan already mentioned. That delegation which visited Morocco in the pre-COVID era, if we can say so, because now the life is divided before and after. We hope that after will be rather soon, but I have to say that I was impressed with everything what we saw in Morocco, and part of those presentations which we already saw before was something which we see in reality. And also the members of our delegation, the companies from Vojvodina and Serbia, they were also impressed. And unfortunately, in the meantime, we had that pandemic of COVID-19, and all the possible cooperation and continuation of business talks stopped, unfortunately, but we hope it will be it will be possible to continue with that after the pandemics. A lot of similarities, like Milan said, I saw in those presentations before, especially with the strategy of investment in both countries. To be honest, in Serbia, we have almost the similar strengths and factors which we use to improve the level of foreign investment. And what you are in Africa, if I can say, one of the most important players in attracting the foreign direct investments, we can say that we are trying to be that here in Balkans. And the last few years show that we are rather successful in that, like you in Morocco. And that's the fact, because I think that speaking about mutual investment, maybe it's not so real. Maybe on the small and medium level, we can expect that some sort of combination of trying to find some new markets together is possible. But I think our most important task for the future, speaking about economic relationship between Morocco and Serbia, is to increase the level of trade, to increase the level of cooperation, to find partners which are ready to deal with both markets. Of course, we need some global factors like that free trade agreement, which we are expecting to be present, and also we have to mention the free traveling without visa. That can be also the factors. I know it's a high policy and it's not easy to speak about it, but this is the factor when we can have the better movement of people and business people and also ordinary people who would like to see what we had that privilege to see, for instance, in Casablanca and Rabat, as a small part but very important part of Morocco. And what we hear about Casablanca is that Casablanca region is almost the whole Serbia, speaking about the number of inhabitants, and it means it's very, very important to have the good cooperation between Vojvodina and Casablanca region, of course, for the beginning. I would like just to say that we have to find and to increase the number of companies in Vojvodina. We have around 60 to 70 companies dealing with Morocco in both ways. Most of them are importing from Morocco. Export from Serbia and from Vojvodina is not so well established, and I have to say that I think we have possibilities maybe in those retail chains which are not foreign owners, which are not owned by foreigners, because we have to be honest, in most of those companies we can see some similar companies who invest in Morocco and Serbia, and I'm sure the decisions about their business policy is made in their headquarters in those countries, not in Morocco, not in Serbia. And that is the fact we have to adapt. We have to be, we have know that this is the fact. But I think we can find companies who can cooperate. For instance, when you speak about tourism and the importance of that services in Morocco, I'm sure that most of your companies and your subjects in that area, they don't know that in Novi Sad, for instance, we have a company who made equipment for the hotels worldwide. And maybe those examples can show us that we can find the partners, and that's the reason why we think that in the future that trade missions which we planned and we hope we will continue after the pandemic with that, I think that is the most important, that people know each other and they can find business people just have to be on one place, and I'm sure they will find a solution for everything and they will help each other and they will try to open new possibilities. As a Chamber of Commerce, we have to help them, and that's the reason why we think that trade missions in both directions can be very important, and they can help. Maybe just to say, your colleague from Morocco told something about Casablanca, and from that movie we were in that Rick's Cafe and we felt the whole atmosphere. And I'm sure that in the future our cooperation and our trade can increase a lot. As a chamber, we will do our best to help that process. And I'm sure in the future, with a more frequent visit in both sides, we will be in a position to dramatically increase our cooperation. Thank you.
We're waiting for you at Rick's Cafe.
Thanks very much. We appreciate that call. Thanks, Zoran, as well. We know how tourism is important for both economies. I think maybe even more for Moroccan economies than ours. And let's see what is the picture at the moment, and what are plans for tourism in Morocco. I think your next speaker should be Mr. Othman Sherif Alami, President of Regional Tourism Council in Casablanca. Am I right? Please.
You're right.
Yes, President. Thank you all for this fantastic webinar between our two Chamber of Commerce. I will first of all congratulate all the participants for this exceptional meeting between Morocco and Serbia, Serbia and Morocco. Tourism is a reality in Serbia, and tourism is more and more reality in Morocco. Some few tourists from Serbia visit our country. Maybe we remember some chartered to Agadir. Now they come to Marrakesh and Casablanca. Also, some few Moroccan they would like and they like to visit all those countries, and especially Serbia and Belgrade, of course. We need more connection. We need more direct fly. We need more digital communication between the two populations. And we need more cultural activities, and why not sport activities. Of course, trade mission in Casablanca and in your country will be fantastic in next months. Casablanca, as my friends from Rabat and Casablanca said before me, is a mythical city with the movie. All of us remember this famous movie of Casablanca. This city is a young city, but is one of the more important city in our country. And today is a hub city with connection with all the world, and especially Europe, of course, with many connections. Of course, today is not the moment for tourism. We are now on the war against the coronavirus, and Morocco since 8 months is really working so hard to block this pandemic, and I think we will be finished in the next 3, maximum 5 months. Please, next. Casablanca is a heritage, also authentic heritage, with the old Medina of Casablanca near the harbor of Casablanca. We have also the Habous Medina, which is really our cultural heart architecture in Casablanca. And we are very proud with this quarter of our city. And we built all this palace just 70 years old. After heritage, we have also Art Deco. You know, Casablanca is a fantastic Art Deco with Buenos Aires and Paris. And we have the chance to see that the city will completely make a rehabilitation of all the head of the center of Casablanca, and the Art Deco district will be better and better for all the visitors. Of course, we have the great and the famous Hassan II Mosque on the Ocean Atlantic, which all our tourists want to visit inside and to see how our sculptor, our artisans are so proud and so expert on different things because they build this famous mosque of Hassan. Also, we have the modern city, and we can say Casablanca, white city, modern city, contemporary capital city, and we have a new finance city. We are building a fantastic Casablanca finance city to hold all the exchange business through Europe, world, and Africa. Green town, yes, around Casablanca, we have many others little city, and we have the green town, Bouskoura, where we have now more than 3 golf courses, and all the green is really very concentrated in this city. We call it our green town of Bouskoura, only 15 kilometers between Casablanca and the airport. We have Bouskoura town. We hope to build in the next 10 years a big Congress palace with a big exposition sites to receive all the World Congress in our city of Casablanca. Of course, we have the big marina, which is practically at the end of the construction. And we have a list of more than 8 museums that are now in building. Global tourism destination. Yes, Casablanca and the region. We have a big region and we have a touristical region. We have, of course, the tourist business, the shopping with the malls. We have 3, 4, 5 malls, big and little. We have the city break, we have the cruise, and we have the medical tourism. We are one of the cities in Africa who play very well in medical city. And we have cultural and, and leisure tourism activities. So the touristic product, Casablanca and region, is a fantastic multi-proposition for visiting our city. 1.5 million tourists each year. It was the number in 2019. 3 million nights beds, but only in hotel with agreements, but there is more night beds in apartment through, you know, the Airbnb, etc. And we will receive, and we have in 2019, more than 300,000 passengers for cruise in Casablanca. Today, our region is more than 25,000 beds, and 65% of this capacity is between 4-star and 5 stars and deluxe. Many international standard hotels are today in Casablanca, El Jadida, Mohammedia, Ben Sliman, which are the main cities, Azmour, of course, with 1 casino also in Azmour, near El Jadida on the Ocean Atlantic coast. Today, we have the first international airport in Morocco with more than 10 million passengers, which is approximately 42% of the air traffic in Morocco. Casablanca is a destination of excellency, mall, with the largest mall in Africa, the Morocco Mall, and the most trusted international brands. first cruise tourism destination with a new terminal, fantastic terminal, and pier dedicated to the tourist cruise activities. It is finished now, ready to receive the big ferry boats. Tourism, culture, Casablanca is for culture, tourism, hobbies, nightlife, restaurants, gastronomy. We have many, many nice activities in our city. Theater, one of the biggest theater, is finished. We hope to see the first animation in July, next July. And of course, we have many exhibitions in Casablanca, in our famous Palais de la Foire de Casablanca. And we have many design and fashion and concert of music. As you see, fashion destination with many fashion festival mode and weekend in Casablanca in all the big hotels. Jazz music is something that the citizens of Casablanca like very much. And we have Jazz Blanca, which is one of our famous festivals in Casablanca each year. Amusement park, zoo, aquarium, aqua park. It's something that we are building more and more for our family tourist visitors and of course, all our kids from Morocco. Yes, 325 or 350 kilometers from Walidia until Buznika, which is the two main little beach city that we have in our region, which is one of the most important beach and swimming pool, private club or public club. 10 reasons at the end to visit Casablanca. A global tourist destination, infrastructure of a large metropolis, accessibility of a large hub, a prestigious hotel industry, a wide choice of conference space, a lively city day and night, a shopper paradise, a kingdom of golf, more than 8 golf courses around Casablanca and inside Casablanca, and seaside metropolis to open the authentic Morocco. Thank you for your attention. See you soon in Casablanca, and we hope to be in Belgrade soon, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Mr. Alami. Of course, not only Belgrade, to Novi Sad as well. Well, I was also, as Mr. Trupovsky, lucky to be in those delegations. So I did like Casablanca. According to that, I don't need any additional one of those 10 reasons to visit Casablanca again. That's about me. But what's going on with our tourism and other services? Something about that will tell us Mr. Branislav Mamić, Chamber Secretary of Association Services. Please, Brane.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, dear Milan, dear friends from Morocco, dear colleagues. First of all, I want to thank my colleague from Casablanca on this excellent presentation, but I must say, and said that we had rising horse too. And I am sure that we can show you and to promote Vojvodina like one of the wonderful places in the world for sure. Unfortunately, the service sector, which I lead, is the most suffer due to COVID-19 pandemic crisis. And according to the analysis of the previous few years, the number of foreign tourists who decide to visit Vojvodina has been growing steadily. Basically, most tourists come from the three former Yugoslavia republics, we're calling now from the region. But from the 2010, we find a significant increase of number of tourists from China in Vojvodina, and they most visit the city of Novi Sad, the spa resort Vrnik on Fruška Gora, and Palić Lake. Although January and February of last year indicated a high number of tourist arrivals, but due to the pandemic situation, in the whole world, the number of tourist arrivals in Vojvodina was halved. According to the data of Statistical Office of Republic of Serbia, in the period January-December 2000, tourist visit in the Republic of Serbia is unfortunately 50.7% less than last year's. It's almost the same numbers according of night, spent nights is almost 50% less than last year. We find out that the first 2 months of last year, it was extremely high, but unfortunately, this result is not optimistic in this moment. The number of Serbian tourists who decide to visit Morocco increased in the last time. For example, from 2080 to 2090, Serbian tourists are 4 times more visit Morocco than before, especially Casablanca, what my colleague has mentioned, Marrakesh and Fez, if I said well. It's a three most interesting position in Morocco with impressive cultural heritage on the first place. We have our racing horse in Vojvodina, for example. One of them is nautical tourism. It is a high growth trend, and the greatest increase we expecting in the Balkan and Europe in this area, because we have Danube, and with infrastructure in the ports, marines, and tourist attraction of Danube, it open opportunity to connect all Europe on the same place. Cycling tourism could become a key tourist product of our country, especially in the Vojvodina. The advantage of the territory of Vojvodina is well-marked trails, flat terrain, dotted with the unique natural beauties, cultural and historical content, and great hospitality of the host. I must mention Eurovelo 6. It's a cycling route, one of the 3 in Vojvodina, which connect the Atlantic Ocean with the Black Sea. This 4,500 kilometers long route is known as the Danube bicycle route, and about 10,000 cyclists pass this route in Serbia every year. And we find out that it can be the great opportunity for us in the future. I must mention 2 other bicycling tours is Eurovelo 11 and Eurovelo 13. Cultural tourism in Vojvodina has a great potential too, because the overall culture in the Vojvodina has a long and rich tradition. There is a wide number of local traditional events and different kind of festivals in Vojvodina during all the year. And I can mention that yearly we had more than 1,000 different kind of manifestation in Vojvodina. Some of them exceeded the local market, they expanding through the regional and wide the world, such as the Exit Festival, which unfortunately COVID pandemic crisis, but we know that the last 15 and more years we have more than 200,000 visitors for only few days during the Exit Festival. Gastronomic tourism, due to the multinational and multicultural environment in Vojvodina, we have a great gastronomic offer. Vojvodina is also known like wine tourist and hunting potential. Medical tourism is the fastest growing branch in tourism in the world, as evidenced by data, the health tourism recording, and they growing up almost 20% yearly. Vojvodina has a variety of different variety of the clinics catering to medical tourists in area of plastic cosmetic surgery, dental care, fertility treatment, rehabilitation, and the weight loss procedures. Religious tourism is another fast-growing branch tourism in the world, but it's just on the beginning in this moment. According other service sectors, retail sectors in Vojvodina, according to the pandemic crisis, it was the best part of the sector on the sector service in Vojvodina, and according the turnovers in Vojvodina in December 2020 compared to December 2019 in the current prices is higher by 0.4%, and in constant prices higher by 0.9%. In the December 2020, compared with December 2019, the increase in the retail turnover in the region of Vojvodina is almost 10% more. It's very interesting data because in the middle of the crisis, we have the excellent supplier, and we have no problem with elementary food industry supplier in Vojvodina. The one of the most promising sector in Vojvodina is IT sector, increasingly becoming the hotspot for the innovation-oriented IT companies and the first choice location for high quality and cost-effective alternative to more development markets. We have a few key features about this company, about this sector. We have more than 250 companies employing more than 6,000 IT experts. Already Microsoft, Siemens, Bosch, Alcatel, Cisco, Ericsson, Schneider Electric, and etc. are successfully operating in Serbia and Vojvodina. Strong international support from research and development, excellent support from IT-oriented business incubators, very competitive labor costs, a large pool of highly qualified engineers with good knowledge of foreign languages, and finally, electric power prices in one of the lowest in the Europe, and corporate profit tax rate is at 15%. Creative industry are signified sector in Serbia economy, which share between 3.5 and 7.1 GDP and grow faster than the rest of the economy. In this sector, it's covered by more than 30,000 enterprises, employing more than 100,000 workers, which almost are between 25 to 44 years old, have graduated from faculty, and large number of them are women. The sector of creative industry, including publishing, print media, graphic industry, IT and software development, advertising, music and film industry, design, radio and television, fashion, and old crafts. Transport, with a total road length of almost 6,000 kilometers, the road network in the Vojvodina is well developed. Road transport in Vojvodina represents dynamic and dominant mode of transport with the share of about 80% of total cargo transport. The Danube River is an unused resource of Europe, but also an important development opportunity for Serbia. With almost 600 kilometers of flow through the territory, a quarter can be used to develop activities. And finally, I just want to tell you some very interesting facts about Vojvodina. Ethnically and religiously, is the most heterogeneous European region. Vojvodina is halfway from equator to North Pole on 45 parallels. We have 30 different national communities. We have 9 languages in the official use. The big Bački channel is the longest network of channels in Europe. And during the building, they take sand from the 2 times like a Suez channel in Egypt. It's very interesting. We have the biggest oil on canvas in the region, which cover more than 45 square meters. The Sombor church organ is the second largest in the Europe. Karađorđevo is the largest hunting ground in the Europe. deliberately sends its only desert in Europe. And immediately after the Yellowstone Park in USA, Obetska Bara, special natural reserve from Vojvodina, received the status of special reserve in 1974. Fruška Gora National Park have the largest concentration of linden trees in Europe. And very interesting, the first postcard in the world was sent from Vojvodina on the May 11, 1971. One saga said that Vojvodina is not a territory, Vojvodina is a mentality. Thank you very much.
Thank Mr. Mamić. Well, there are some facts that I didn't know about those postcards. Anyway, I think during all this today's program, we found some new data that would help us in our daily works. Before we go on some conclusion, may I ask my colleague Ms. Elkinani if she can collect all those presentations and send it via email to us, please. I think it's going to be very useful to my colleague and myself.
Okay. Okay, Milan, I will do it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, before we start with conclusion, I have to mention how sad we are that those two activities, due to well-known facts about COVID pandemic situation last year, we were not able to realize. His Excellency mentioned also a business delegation of Casablanca Chamber in first week of April, but also the stand that could have been taken by ADA, agency of Moroccan Agriculture Ministry in Novi Sad, International Novi Sad Agriculture Fair. So far, we have to be optimistic. During informal talks before our conference, we hope that after the May, we could step by step, slowly come back to normal activities. I mean normal, this is also normal activities in such a situation. Sometimes give us some more benefits, some advantage. We had some business forum and we had over 200 virtual visitors. Of course, in normal situation, we could not have taken such a large number of participants. But I think we have to come back to eyes-to-eyes business talks, and hopefully in June we could be able to welcome business delegation from Casablanca. And unofficial information that I have from Novi Sad Agriculture Fair is that in September they will have International Agriculture Fair. So hopefully we will make those Morocco-Serbia forum that we have planned last year. Of course, we are in the daily touch about that. Please, our chambers and all our secretary and other staff are here for any question or initiative from Moroccan and Casablanca chamber. And I'm sure that His Excellency would like also to mention something by the end of our conference.
Thank you, Milan. What can I say as a closing remarks? I'm really delighted to participate to this conference and happy to see more and more interests in consolidating and strengthening cooperation between the two chambers of commerce, of course. The presentations from both sides were very relevant and gave a clear picture of the opportunities ahead. Indeed, there are many opportunities, whether in the tourism, construction, or agro-processing sectors, or in other fields such as ICT or digital agriculture. So our business communities just have to take the first step and make it concrete. Moreover, we are here to support all good initiatives. To conclude, I would like to say that we look forward to the visit of Mr. Yasser Adil to Vojvodina, accompanied by a business delegation in order to be able to organize the B2B meetings and to deepen and concretize this cooperation through new partnerships. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think also that President of Casablanca Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Adil, would like to address some his concluding remarks. Mr. Adil, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. President, our partners, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce of Casablanca, I thank all the participants in this conference for their interesting presentation, which highlighted the enormous potentials that our countries represent for successful trade and economic cooperation. And I would like also to reiterate my thanks for your interest in our corporation and to assure you of all full support for the actions to be created urgently with the hope to visit Vojvodina, like His Excellency said, accompanied by a business delegation when sanitary conditions allow, and I hope return soon a normal situation to do that. And I will thank again all of you. Thank you of all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Adil. Your Excellency, thanks a lot for your support, your presence in this very room, for giving us, how I can say, good publicity for our conference. Colleague from the chamber, thanks very much also to all other Moroccan institutions. We had a quite good glimpse of sectors that we covered during this conference. I do hope that this delegation will come to Novi Sad in by the end of May or maybe beginning of June, if not during this year. And meanwhile, we will go on with our activities. Also, thanks for attention to all YouTube viewers that watch our conference. And I wish you all the pleasant the rest of the day. Thanks very much and bye-bye.
Bye.